Hello, it is Thursday, it's 5 p.m. I'm Tom Selway and this is Iris Live. We're back again and excited to share the next half an hour with you wherever you're watching from around the UK, or if you're watching at the Co-op Happy Hour sponsored by Wrexham Lager and Evan Evans Brewery. Tonight we have the men behind the music you've been hearing on our beautiful montages, the Iris 2021 house band Heights, and the talented team behind feature film Firebird, which will have its UK in-person premiere at Iris tonight. Now, as ever, we'll be hearing reviews from David Llewellyn, social stats from Holly, and we'll be returning to our friends Derek and Orla watching Iris online. But first, let's take a look at the last 24 hours of Iris.
2016 it was my first encounter with Iris Prize, and then it's every year then it's grown and grown and grown, and obviously after last year it's really grown and become more accessible, which is really important for me, is that everybody has accessibility to Iris Prize.
I made a short film, Wings, and it won the Audience Award and the Youth Award. So that's kind of how I got involved. Iris does loop you in as well, as you probably know, because you just do such a wide range of things to ensure that filmmakers feel involved and there's so much going on. So yeah, it was in the midst of COVID, when everyone was locked in their house, I kind of started to realise what Iris was and what it was about, and now I'm sort of, I think I'm in, that's it.
Iris Live was so much fun last year, and I'm thrilled that we're doing it again this year. I thought that we would do it last year to fill a gap of not being able to have people in person, meeting the filmmakers, and I'm thrilled that we are doing it again, because there's so many great people here that I would love to chat to, and for those that can't attend the festival, this is their opportunity to meet them and have a relaxed conversation and really get to know them at a really personal level. So I love Iris Live, it's been great.
In the Premier Cinemas Projectionist Bar to sort of talk about Philip, our friend Philip Wynne-Jones. Unfortunately he passed away this year, and so we're just like coming together to remember him a little bit and sort of tell stories. It's just nice to sort of like have people who knew him and have people who've got all those stories, and we can all just share them and, like, you know, be together tonight.
Now, romantic Cold War drama thriller Firebird tells the story of an illegal affair between a soldier and a fighter pilot. Based on a true story, the film, which has been praised for its timeless quality, thoughtful dialogue and impressive special effects, is screening at the festival this year. And with me to talk about it are actor and co-writer Tom Pryor and director Peter Rebane. Welcome both. It's fantastic to have you here at the festival. First of all, am I right, just to make sure I'm right there, now this is the first time the film will be premiered on a big screen in a cinema, am I right?
Yeah, in the UK, that's absolutely true.
In the UK, that's good enough. Now, obviously the pandemic has had a massive impact across the film industry over the last few months. UK production, staff, writing, all kinds of things. And obviously the release of this film. So how long has this film been in the making, and how has COVID impacted the production and then the release?
Well, the original idea actually came about 10 years ago, and I started writing it, and then when I thought it's ready, we were introduced with Tom and shot a couple of scenes to kind of proof of concept for financiers. And then Tom started making some suggestions.
I had the audacity to start saying, maybe we could change the dialogue in some places.
Oh, did that go down well?
Well, Peter was amazingly receptive, actually,
Yeah.
and that led to us then doing sort of 2 weeks worth of discussions about how we could change the script around, and then that dug me into a whole of maybe about 2 or more years worth of rewriting,
Yeah.
which we did together, and that meant that we went to actually meet the real Sergei, who the story is based on. So we went to Russia and we interviewed him, and we basically then got together to raise the financing and to onboard the rest of the cast, and then we shot in 2018 from September through to November, and then we were in post-production pretty much for all of 2019. And then right at the end of 2019, we actually had to change our music composer just because there were some complications. And then the beginning of 2020, we went and worked with the amazing composer for the film, Christoph, in Warsaw. And then basically, the pandemic happened, and that really just delayed the release. So
it was sort of in late post-production, and then were you able to continue working on it through COVID, or did it literally shut down the completion of the film?
Well, I mean, thankfully, the majority of the production was done, but it kind of was like a time for reflection, I think, really for the world anyway. We kind of actually took the reflection to literally take another 7 minutes out of the film.
Oh, really?
Which doesn't really sound like a lot, but actually it streamlined actually how it really played in the end so well.
Wow. And so then the release was impacted. So how long were you sort of sat on the film from the point that it was finished before you could actually show it to someone?
Probably about over a year, right? It was pretty much done September 2019, and then we premiered at BFI Flair in March of this year.
Wow. So that must have been quite frustrating, obviously, that you want to get this project out that you've been working on for such a long time, and then kind of hampered and not be able to share it with people. How did you react to that?
It's like, when can we move on to the next one? I think that's the feeling, really. But it's also amazing because, really, I actually appreciated the time off to not be running around like mad for the last year, and to actually have time for yourself and to also reflect what you want to do in life. So.
Well, what was the determination behind completing this project? I mean, many filmmakers, and I can't say I've met that many that would say that they've been working on something for that long. What was it about the story that was sort of, we've got to tell this, I've got to tell this, I think this is a really great story that I want to share?
Well, the first time when I read the original manuscript, it's based on an autobiography of a Russian actor called Sergei Fetisov. I literally cried, and I was like, I have to turn this into a film. That it's, first of all, just such a tragic, real human drama, human story, but also the fact that it's set in the 1970s, and it was almost hard to believe how could a soldier in the Soviet army fall in love with a fighter pilot. That's kind of an impossible setting. So, and how could they have really had this kind of a family model for years in the Soviet regime.
I'm interested in how you guys collaborated on the writing. So, quite literally, how does that work? Would you sort of work on a little bit of the written or feedback? Were you in the same room? Were you separately? Did you work on separate sections? How does that work logistically?
Well, I guess because neither of us were technically formally trained writers. I'm a formally trained actor. Peter went to film school, and so we had to kind of figure out how that was going to go. And I mean, really, I kind of started giving notes initially on dialogues and about what sounds believable. How do people actually speak? Actually mastering the art of writing dialogue that actually sounds like the way that people speak is actually incredibly difficult. And some people just can do it, and some people just can't. And I think that also you can also just learn, but through just kind of adjusting and switching. And I think we complement each other very well in the writing. Peter's very good at structural analysis of where we could take this scene out and put it there instead, and then rejiggle this and then put that in front of that. And I'd be like, how do you even, how does your brain work like that? Because my brain doesn't work like that. but I was much more kind of covering kind of things like emotional truth and dialogues, and then yeah, just kind of I guess like, it was kind of the creative aspects did complement each other quite well, but in very different ways. We kind of cover each other's weaknesses.
Wow. And talk to me a little bit about the kind of the sexuality, on-screen sexuality. Did you ever feel at any point that you needed to sort of compromise on the sexuality on screen?
Nope.
Not at all.
In what sense specifically?
Well, just sort of in the context of it being a film around, a nostalgic historic film setting that maybe you felt that there was a certain way to portray it, not in a contemporary way because it was set in a period. You know, was there any sort of?
Definitely that. I mean, when we're making a film, it's set in 1977, so you have to think of how did people behave, how was what was the accepted norm in society of speaking or body language or many small details really, and it's totally different from now. And it's kind of sometimes astonishing to look at films which are made about the past, but everybody's behaving as if today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so true. Even when we were writing it, it's like, how do you write dialogue for a relationship that you can't speak about, that you can't scale? There's not anything like the terminology that we have today. It's just like, what is your physical preference and how do you identify? Simply that was a whole series of looks and body language and very risky small moments which could get you in trouble or could end your life. Yeah, I think that like setting it, and we made a very distinctive choice actually when shooting like the intimate scenes, for example, to make it really about sort of souls like merging together. We didn't want to do a very mechanical, explicit, intimate scenes really for that reason, because we wanted, as Sergei had wished us to do so when we met him, to make a film about love, and make it specifically about these two amazing people coming together and being together and trying to be together no matter what.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing it because I haven't seen the full film yet, so that's going to be a real treat for me. And what are you most looking forward to about the rest of the week for Iris? Any highlights for you both?
Oh, there's so much that I think I want to definitely go to the live event, and I wish I had time to go to some of the seminars that are like at 3 o'clock every afternoon.
Yeah.
There's like so much cool stuff, but yesterday we ended up being on Zoom instead. So it's like
we've all gotten used to that at the moment. I'm afraid there's been a lot of Zoom, hasn't there? And what about yourself, Tom?
Well, I saw the film Weekend by Andrew Hay.
Yeah.
I think it's almost 10 years ago now. And that film changed my life. Like when I saw it, I was like, whoa, like there was just so many amazing intricacies in the way that he constructed the film. And I'd never seen a film like it, which had broken something down. Like it was almost like a film schooling for me. Like when I saw this film, I think I watched it 3 or 4 times when I first did it. I actually wrote to Andrew Hay and also the producer as well, because I was like, wow, like, so it's actually like amazing to see that that's been kind of brought back as a really iconic piece of work.
Yeah. Great stuff. Listen, it's been wonderful to meet you both. Thank you so much for coming in. Best of luck with the film. Tom and Peter, everybody, give them a round of applause. And now we're going back to the Golden Cross to hear from David Llewellyn, our 2021 short film programmer.
Day 2, and today we get to see all of the 15 films competing in the Best British category. Now, when you've got 15 films to work with, programming becomes extra important. We had a film like Baby Boy, which is, despite its title, is actually probably one of the most hard-hitting films we've ever shown.
I'm not gonna want for anything, sweetheart. I promise. I'm gonna love you so much.
So how do you program that film? Well, we chose films that were also looking at the darker side of life, films that were tougher, films that included violence, things that the audience needed to kind of be prepared for a little bit. But the counter to that then is that we have a program called Smile, which has a charming animated Welsh language short called Cwch Dylan, and another film, Silver and Gold, which is a charming homage to silent movies.
Derek! Let me through! Come on! Tee off to bend!
And then in Resilience, we have stories that are about, surviving against the odds or rising up against difficulty. So it's got 2 films, actually, that are in the running for both the Iris Prize and for the Best British. And those are Lesbian and Baba. And they're both great films. Lesbian is a kind of poetic call to arms by a Syrian-British poet called Lisa Lux. And it's very stylized and, yes, and short and sweet, but great.
Our palms are 2 birds' wings, folding in a nest of fingers. We rest our hands together as we move. Public is a place to hold each other safe, a softness so often ambushed by shame.
And then Baba is a drama set in Tripoli about a young man trying to leave the persecution of that country behind and make his way to Britain.
Minnow! بريطانيا
يمشي عليه صح ولا؟
لا 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 الناس بيشوفوك.
It's like Boris now. Rule Britannia!
الناس بيعرفوا.
It's fine.
انت جيت هنا ما لبستش طاقية ولا شيء؟
أنا مش خايف.
And they're both very powerful, and so are the rest of the films in that program. So I hope you enjoy them all. I'll see you again on day 3.
Thanks very much for that, David. And now we're heading back over to see how Derek and Ola have been getting on with Iris Live Online.
Oh, hi. I'm All or Nothing, real housewife. And I'm here today to tell you about Iris in a Box, where you'll receive Iris t-shirt sponsored by Premier Cinemas, Iris tote bag sponsored by the Clayton Hotel, sweet and salted popcorn, irresistible chocolate, Iris badges designed by Sean Morgan, London Dry Gin, limited edition Iris promotional postcards and other offers, including something from our friends at Gays Who Wine. So relax with me, All or Nothing. Day 2 in the Derek and Ola house.
Iris Prize Film Festival! Why open the door?
Oh!
Come on. That's obvious now.
What?
He did it. He did it.
Who?
He
Him?
did. Him.
No, him.
Him. Oh no, it's him actually. It's him.
It's a shame we didn't get to the Iris Prize Film Festival, but watching it online is almost like being there.
Do you know what is almost like being there? Actually being there.
We're going to Cardiff!
Our train is booked for...
I'm ready.
Orla, we're not going until tomorrow. Orla? She's not ready to go. Orla, we're not going until tomorrow!
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting Derek and all, and that will be fun, right? Plenty more from Iris Live after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Better Tomorrow
starts today. If you have the ambition, we will give you the inspiration.
and welcome back to Iris Live. Time for Social Corner. With me to talk about all things Twittery is Holly.
Hello.
Hello. Now, I said yesterday that it's been quite busy, and I think first full day of Iris, that's continued. We've had a lot of great messages coming through again.
Yeah,
Give me the top line.
Very, very busy yesterday. So last night we had the UK premiere of Swan Song, which was really exciting. Not only featuring gorgeous performances from Udo Kier and Jennifer Coolidge,
wow,
but also the music of Robin, as David just pointed out. Love a bit of Robin. And if you didn't get to see Swan Song last night, it is on again at 2 p.m. on Sunday, and it really is one to not miss. And with the film screenings, today we have returned to Chapter to share the best British shorts. There have already been 2 programmes and there's one more to go this evening. We love hearing from the filmmakers, and the team from Dragged Up have shared this gorgeous picture of the films in their programme, Smile.
Fantastic. It's really lovely to be back in Chapter.
It's so good to be back at Chapter, where Michael has been today, enjoying the films. And we're also very excited to see so many of the British filmmakers arriving in Cardiff.
Yes.
So here's a picture of Margot enjoying Cardiff Castle. Very joyful. And of course, the international filmmakers can't be with us this year, but that doesn't mean that they're not getting in touch. Paul, who's behind the film Buffalo, shared this picture with us yesterday.
Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely. I mean, it is great, and we've got to remember, as I do every day, that we're missing a big part of our Iris family for the international audience, but hopefully they're watching.
They're definitely all out there, through the computer, watching
thinking
online.
About you, and hopefully next year maybe we'll be in a different situation.
Fingers crossed. It would be lovely to get everyone back to Iris.
Yeah.
We've got lots going on as well as the films this week. So last night we had a really special event before Swan Song where we were remembering our dear friend Philip Wynne-Jones, who sadly passed away earlier this year. And if you're in Premier Cinemas this week, you can write a postcard about your time at Iris to leave on the Dear Philip wall in the bar.
That's lovely.
It's a really nice touch, actually, and it was a special moment. And other things we've got going on this week, we've got a programme of talks, as Tom and Peter mentioned earlier. Here's a snap of the team who did the Iris Academy talk yesterday, which was all about the relationship between producers and actors, filmmakers and jury members, David, Carla, Jamie and Matt, looking gorgeous.
I heard that went really
right
well.
Right here, in fact.
Yeah.
And also, we've got exhibitions this week as well, in partnership with Diffusion Festival that is going on for all of October. So if you head to the Iris Club, you can see this gorgeous photography exhibition as captured by David yesterday.
I was in the club yesterday. That was lots of fun. I really liked that club.
Yeah, for our happy hour.
Just as you go in through the Queen's Arcade entrance, just on the left.
Yes, exactly.
There's lots of free nibbles and things too.
Yeah, the Co-op have really pulled out all the stops. There are beers, there are flapjacks, polos. So it's all very exciting there. And tonight is when the club is really going to be an actual club.
Oh, I can't wait.
Of course, we have got Heights, who you're going to be speaking to in just a moment.
Yes.
So the gig there tonight at Queen's Arcade.
Right, so everybody's got to come. You've been told now.
Absolutely, 7 o'clock, be there. And if you want to get in touch with us on social media, please do on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Iris Prize.
Good stuff. Thanks very much, Holly. Now, we've obviously got a lot of films competing this year. We thought we'd give you a reminder of those in the international category. Here is the Iris trailer.
When it's hard to let go of your vessel and all your friends know that's an SOS. When you call my name out on the way down, it's not an echo, it's an SOS. I know you feel sometimes, yeah, that no one else knows what it's like. I know you gotta wrestle with the devil, but when you get home, send an SOS. And I still off whole, so I wanna let you know that you are a part of me, and I am a part of you. Oh, nobody starts off whole, so I wanna let you know that you are a part of me, and I am a part of you, that you are a part of me, and I still
you've been enjoying the 2 montages of shorts competing for the Iris Prize and Iris Prize Best British Awards this year, you'll have been listening to the music of Heights. Now, this is what the industry has had to say about Heights. A couple of quotes here. Designed to leave the listener besotted. Well, I've been besotted ever since I've been listening to the music. I think that's fair. That was The Guardian, by the way. Best Pop Act from the Scottish Music Awards 2020. And then we've got a quote here. Precocious, intoxicating digital pop melodies. The band's compact but enticing catalogue is strewn with killer melodic moments. Clash magazine, that's quite a quote. Let's put it to the guys, see what they think about that. Guys, it's great to meet you both.
Yeah, you too.
What does that make you feel, that kind of quote? That's quite, something, isn't it?
It's mental, man. It's very weird.
Yeah, it sounds like a write-up for like a superhero movie or something.
Yeah, when you go, because we just make stuff in our bedroom, and then you put it out, and then it's one thing having people on Instagram being like, I love the song, it means so much to me, and then when you see your face on like a newspaper or something, all of a sudden your mum's like, you're famous, and it's like, no, I'm not famous at all. But it's cool to like see that people write these things, and like I said, we don't really understand most of the words in these interviews anyway, so.
Listen guys, we're really excited about tonight. Obviously we mentioned earlier that you're going to be playing.
Yeah.
Now, how little have you been playing over the last couple of months with lockdown and COVID? What have you guys been up to?
Yeah, well, mostly writing music, recording, locked ourselves.
Not very good music at all.
Why bad music?
Our flop era.
Yeah, because there was nothing to write about. Sam's obsessed with our flop era because there's this whole thing on TikTok about Billie Eilish going through her second album was her flop era. I think it's great, but Sam was like, oh, our flop era. I'm like, nah, bro. But we wrote some really bad songs. You do write loads of bad songs and then maybe 1 or 2 good ones, but we were going through a real cold streak just because there was nothing to write about with COVID, and we were just in the same place all the time. We were in Sam's bedroom, which is our studio, so it was kind of repetitive. And then we started playing gigs again, so we played a couple in London, but they were like distanced, which was really cool but quite strange. Everyone's sitting down and only like 30 people in the room. And then we played our first show back at like a normal thing was in our hometown of Glasgow, and that was like sold out 300 cap, which we were saying before we started filming them, it takes a bit of getting used to like that amount of people in a room, so it was quite nuts. And that's the one gig that we've done that was like non-distance and stuff like that. So tonight it's still going to be very, very fresh from the year and a half off.
And what was that like? I mean, were you guys quite nervous? I mean, I've been saying this week, being in front of people, it's kind of like I've had to reinstall the software in my head about like just being with people. Like, how was that for you?
To be honest, like before lockdown, I'm not going to shine any praise on lockdown at all because it's been terrible, but before lockdown, for me personally, gigging was like a horrible thing. It was so like anxiety inducing and just really a stressful thing altogether. But over lockdown, it kind of gave me the impatience to actually want to do it, or the desire to want to do it. And coming back to that first gig with like, some of our friends were there, but like it was mainly just people that we'd never seen before singing our songs back to us, and it was a massive like reminder or a slap in the face more that like what we're doing is okay. So it was great, man.
And so obviously tonight is going to be good fun.
We're so excited. Honestly,
have you been played in Wales a lot or
never been to Wales?
Never.
Both a quarter Welsh.
Yeah.
My granny's Welsh, never been.
Wow.
So,
welcome to Cardiff.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you here.
Yeah, we're so excited.
So how did you get involved with Iris then? Like, what was the sort of instigation to get you guys down?
Yeah, well, there's actually quite a couple of links, weirdly. But Francis, who's on the board at the festival, I believe, is a big fan of ours and came to our show. He was meant to see us at South by Southwest. Not South by Southwest, what was the other one? The one in Bristol.
Can't remember.
Great Escape, the big festival, that's the one. He was meant to see us there, and then that got cancelled, and so we didn't do that. And then he came to see us at Lalo, the London show, the distance one, and he said, would you be willing to do this? And we were like, yeah, completely. We've never been to Wales. We just love playing music to people. So, and then it turns out that one of our best friends' aunties is also involved in the festival. And she's like, oh, you're going to this thing? And yeah, so it's a small world.
It is a small world. What's your guys' relationship with film specifically, though? Like, do you guys, I mean, are you big film fans? Have you thought about writing music for films? Is that something that you'd be interested in?
Massively, yeah. That's the dream, I think. To score a film, that would be the dream. But
so score a film, not like do like a theme or anything, but literally do
both. Yeah.
Almost did a song for a horror movie once. Remember that? And that fell through. That was the most exciting thing ever. But yeah,
we're doing a song for our cover for a film right now. But anyway, that's another thing. But I guess like our whole kind of thing has always been just as much visual, or it's tried to be as much visual as it has like sonic or sound. We've always really treasured the visual aspect of our thing, and we're both massive movie fans, like absolute massive film fans.
Inspires most of our songs actually. Like we go to cinema all the time, and like a lot of times when we run to write a song, we'll write a song about a film character or something.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. I'm just throwing in a random question because I'm a big film music fan.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular like composer or artist that works on a film that you particularly like or admire?
That's a great question. Johnny Thingy from Radiohead.
Johnny Greenwood, he does all Paul Thomas
yeah.
Anderson's films. His kind of approach to score is really like mind blowing.
Yeah,
I love John. I'm a big like classic fan. I love John Williams. Yeah. I think the way that he did things is mental. We went to see Hans Zimmer live as well once.
That's nuts.
I did too. Funny enough, at Wembley, and it was incredible.
It's not, yeah,
the
we saw the
guy's
same
incredible.
thing. He's mental. And the way he talks about it. So yeah, loads and loads of people.
Brilliant stuff. Now, you're doing a talk with the Iris Academy students this afternoon.
Yeah.
Nervous?
Very out of our depth.
I'm not. I'm incredibly intellectual, so I'm completely comfortable. No, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're not used to this kind of thing, so it's the first time we've done it, so we're a little bit nervous. But I think that we've had some amazing experiences doing music videos. We've been really, really lucky to do a bunch of cool ones. So it'll be easy just talking about our experience and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I was going to ask about music videos.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important to continue making music videos for songs? You know, merging the visual storytelling with the audio storytelling.
It's kind of it's weird, isn't it? Because in a lot of ways, some people, I guess, considered it like a bit of a dead art, and that like that had its big boom in the 80s and the 90s when MTV was music on the TV, and music videos became this art form. And now slightly less so, but I think I still always, if I hear a big release, if I look on New Music Friday on a Friday, I always go to YouTube straight away and look at the music videos. I think that when you can really say a lot more with the visuals, you can put a lot more of your message into it, and it shows the difference between a star and an artist. I think if someone's really got, like Lil Nas X, for example, you see that he has so much to do with his artistry, his vision. All the videos kind of bleed together. You know that he's a true artist rather than someone who might just be a really good singer and written a really good song and got there. Yeah.
Do you guys have a lot of control over the music video content?
We actually do. Yeah. It's one of the things that we, keep control over quite rigidly.
Is that something that you were very aware of going into this and just thought, I don't 100%. Want to be represented by something that just does not connect with what we're trying to say in the song?
Yeah, you put it perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly. The label were totally understanding of that. When we signed on, they were saying look, we love what you're doing. We want you to still have autonomy over these kinds of things, yada yada yada. And now it's become a super important part of our whole thing, which it always has been. But now that everything, when you sign to a label, everything becomes a committee decision. It all gets a little bit more professional. People with shirts and ties up here, and you're naturally
When we started, before we signed, we did the music videos ourselves, and we would do things like we crashed a car into a tree, and then we set off fireworks on top of the car, which is was totally health and safety nightmare. And now it's very regulated, and there's cast, and so it's really cool to see both sides of the thing. But I do miss being able to just go and almost set yourself on fire.
And what about your time in Cardiff this week then? What are you most looking forward to? Obviously you've got the gig tonight, that's obviously going to be good. Are you going to try and get anything else in? Maybe see the city a bit, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we were promised karaoke tonight.
There is karaoke after you guys.
Exactly. So we were
hopefully not doing your songs. I know,
we're basically a karaoke band anyway, so it'll just be a prolonged thing. We were promised karaoke, which is my favourite thing. Sam is a late bloomer to the karaoke.
Yeah,
he always swore against it, and then recently I got you into it. And he was like, this is amazing. I'm like, yeah, bro.
Why don't you like karaoke? Because I'm not keen on karaoke. I could sing a little bit, and I'm just not keen on.
I'm just not a natural performer, man. I'm clunky.
He sits back.
Yeah.
You're an observer.
Yeah, I am.
I'm attention hungry, so I love any chance.
Great stuff. Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty to do around Cardiff, guys. You need to explore the city while you're here.
What's the first thing we should do?
Stay here and watch the rest of Iris for today, obviously.
There we go. That's it.
After your talk. There's a couple of films on, I think, this week maybe, but yeah, it's a great week, and it's really good to have you guys involved, and hopefully tonight is going to be an awesome gig. What's next?
Good question,
man.
We've
got a single out next week, which we haven't even announced it yet. We're announcing it on social media tomorrow, so the single's coming out, and then we're going on tour with probably the best young pop star in the UK right now, Griff. We're supporting her on tour, and a bunch of it's already sold out, which makes our job dead easy. We don't even need to stress. And we're going to be making the music video while on tour, I think, with a lot of the footage from people coming to gigs and talking to people, because it's quite a meta song. It's called Singing Your Name, and it's all about the torture that you put yourself through as an artist, having to go out and relive all of your traumatic experiences with your exes and things like that on stage by writing songs about them. And so we wanted to kind of make the video quite meta as well.
Nice.
So that's next in the foreseeable future, and then we're going on a headline tour in November as well. So
which definitely isn't sold out.
yeah, which will never be sold out.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
That's all good. Great, guys. It's been such a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you so much. All the best for tonight. I'm going to try and come. I might not be entirely present. Maybe I'll add a couple of drinks by then. Just to calm down, but I'm sure it's going to be good. So thank you both so much.
Thanks so much,
mate.
Hi to everybody.
Okay.
As you heard from our guests earlier, Firebird is having its UK in-person premiere tonight at Premier Cinemas, which is kind of appropriate, and will be screened again tomorrow night too. And tonight, of course, as we just said, the big gig is the Brilliant Heights at the Iris Club at Queen's Arcade. And if that isn't enough excitement, after that, we'll be heading off to the Golden Cross for a bit of karaoke. Sounds good. That's it from Iris Live for today. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. Until then, bye-bye.